2025 is shaping up to be one of the best years for indie games ever, so I'm here to tell you about the 7 best indie games of 2025 so far, or rather my favorites. What's your favorite indie game of this year so far? Let us all know in the comments. Alright, let's go. Look, usually I'm not really into Western open world RPGs, especially not if they're inspired by the Elder Scrolls, but Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon is just really good. It tells an interesting and dark story around the ghost of King Arthur that lives inside the protagonist. But what actually happens is your decision, as conversations can go in any direction depending on the answers you give. That way, every playthrough can be vastly different because one NPC might not survive, or others become your allies, that kind of stuff. I love that this feels absolutely open and grants freedom that feels refreshing for me as a JRPG guy. And speaking of freedom, while the world is not open world per se, because it's more split into multiple huge areas, the exploration feels great. There are insane amounts of secrets to find, optional bosses to defeat, awesome loot to collect. It would take forever to find everything. All that freedom contributes to this feeling of, this is my own adventure, and that's not easy to achieve for a game. Yeah, there are some things that feel a little bit clunky at the moment, I'm not gonna lie, like movement and combat, but that doesn't mean they're not fun. Different weapons, armor and magic spells offer a great variety of builds, which, again, allows for a freedom that is just so fun to explore. Then there's cooking, fishing, housing, foraging, light survival elements, and over 200 side quests, all of which keep you busy for a long time. Definitely give this one a go if you're into games like Oblivion and Skyrim. Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon is great. Now, hear me out. I know that AI Limit wasn't received that well overall, but I think it's a fantastic Souls-like and far better than a lot of other games in the subgenre. That's because this feels super similar to Dark Souls itself. The level structure with all the shortcuts is reminiscent of what Demon's Souls started all the way back in 2009, where shortcuts to checkpoints are a crucial part of the game design, because they're this satisfying release of tension. AR Limit's level design itself is packed with well-crafted sceneries, specifically designed to challenge players in very different ways. What I missed in Souls-like over the last couple of years was a satisfying exploration. Luckily, AI Limit has that, as exploring rewards you with equipment which can be actually useful at any point in the game. I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like many Souls-like nowadays don't have equipment that stays relevant for the whole playthrough. So it's almost like hitting this cute subscribe button and watching my videos that are relevant to you. Combat may not be perfect, as I felt there's a little bit of input lag that can be difficult to deal with, but it's fun nonetheless. Instead of a traditional stamina bar, you get the sync rate, a bar that fills with successful attacks and reduces when you get hit. The higher the sync rate, the more damage you deal, and this is also your resource to use skills. It's a great system that encourages aggressive gameplay and keeps every encounter a thrilling experience. Boss battles get especially exciting that way, as you need to make careful decisions and learn fun attack patterns along the way. While AI Limit is not the hardest game overall, there are some really challenging and extremely fun bosses here. I'm serious when I say that AI Limit is one of the best Souls-like I've played in years, and if you like this subgenre, you should definitely give this one a go. It's awesome. This game reminded me why I love playing indie games so much, because it's one of the most unique ones I've played in a while. Keep Driving is a management RPG, which is super rare nowadays, and it's all about a giant road trip through the country. The challenge is how you get from point A to point B. You need to keep an eye on energy, fuel, car damage, and your money, but also obstacles along the way, like slow driving trucks, groups of sheep, fallen trees, and much more. These obstacles are turn-based battles that basically play out like a puzzle, where your skills need to match the symbols at the bottom of the screen. On the way, you can pick up hitchhikers that add new skills, take a day job for extra money, shop resources, upgrade your car, and so much more. This may sound a bit weird, but it totally works. One of the most important elements is the superb soundtrack, which only contains songs that perfectly fit the road trip feeling and create a vibe that is a beautiful mix of relaxation and freedom. It's actually kind of hard to explain, but All this creates such a unique and intriguing vibe that made me want to keep playing and never stop. Look, the only negative thing I could say about Keep Driving is that I wish that you got additional mixtapes sooner, but that's only a small complaint and only shows that I love the music in this game. Honestly, if you're looking for your next cozy game, please give this one a go. It's an incredible game. I'm not really a big fan of Analytics, but the sequel and the Magnolia is easily one of the best Metroidvanias I've played in years. That's because it keeps the focus on its unique mechanics while keeping just the right things simple. The combat itself is centered around equipping different spirit skills from enemies you've defeated, and each one feels meaningful and viable, so there's a real sense of experimentation. I constantly found myself switching out skills to try new builds, and the variety is huge. You've got fast melee spirits, ranged magic ones, big heavy hitters, defensive tools. There's so much to play with. And since you can unlock different versions of the same spirit skill that plays super differently, you get loads of options to approach combat, so it never really gets boring. The movement is incredibly fluid, with air dashes and parries that make you feel super agile as you explore. Oh, and exploration feels awesome, as there are tons of secret paths to uncover and items to find that are actually useful. All of this results in a balanced and perfect mix of combat, exploration, and fun platforming, which means the devs absolutely nailed the Metroidvania formula. And if this wouldn't already be enough, the graphics and music create a dense and gloomy atmosphere that immerses you in a dangerous world I just didn't want to leave. And Magnolia is very straightforward in its game design, skips on fancy stuff, and just does the things it does extremely confident and well. If you just play one Metroidvania this year, it should be Magnolia. If one game surprised me this year, it's Mandragora. Not because it does something truly unique or special, but because it's a well-crafted, down-to-earth, side-scrolling RPG that did not bore me 1 second. You create your own character, choose one of 6 classes, and experience a simple yet gripping story about a world in decline with a dose of political drama. Now, the real fun starts when you get tons of loot with many different stats and unlock the 5 classes you didn't choose in the beginning. The result is a deep and highly satisfying gear and skill progression system that allows for surprisingly complex builds and offers the freedom to play as you want. The fact that you can hold one weapon in each hand and then even switch to a secondary pair, which means 4 weapons in total, makes combat feel dynamic and therefore more intense. Oh yeah, and in combat itself, you can do all the great stuff like blocking, parrying, dodging, casting spells, and so on. And again, every playstyle is viable. Playing this, I felt like there's no wrong choice of class combinations, gear, and skill. Everything is deadly, and so is the world, but it's also beautiful thanks to the hand-drawn art style, and most importantly, super fun to explore. Behind every corner there are hidden paths, secrets to find, loot to collect, and optional bosses to fight. It's almost ridiculous how big and rich this world is. So ultimately, everything just works great together. The combat, the exploration, the progression, and the story, everything is designed to keep you going constantly and immerse yourself in this world. Personally, I just couldn't stop playing. So yeah, Mandragora is really overlooked, and I highly recommend this game if you like challenging RPGs with deep and fun mechanics. It's definitely one of my favorite games of this year. I've spent over 100 hours playing this with my girlfriend. That's how captivating Blueprints is to me. In case you haven't heard of this game, Blueprints is a roguelike puzzle mix in which you need to uncover the mysteries of the strange Mount Holly Manor. And it is strange because the rooms in this house are changing depending on how you build it. So basically you come across a door and get to choose one of 3 rooms, each with a different effect, amount of doors, and resources to find. I won't spoil anything, as figuring out all the puzzles is the best and most important thing of Blueprints. But as you explore the manor, it gets clear early on that you need to find the mysterious room 46. Where it is and how you get there, yeah, that's up to you to find out. Just let me tell you, things are not as they seem. It's not a matter of carving a path somewhere. It's more about examining every room you build up to the last detail. And it's about taking notes, combining clues, and carefully recreating the story of the manor and the family of the protagonist. All of that may sound vague, but trust me, the less you know, the better. All I will say is that Blueprint started off slow and weird for me, and I almost dropped it. But luckily I showed it to my girlfriend and she was hooked. We were constantly surprised by the things we found out and what the game turned out to be. It was mind-blowing. Admittedly, you may need a long breath and some clues may be in your notebook forever, and it may feel like you will never find out what to do with them. But on the other hand, solving a puzzle with the detective skills you develop feels absolutely incredible. If you like mystery and puzzle games, you should try this. Oh, and pro tip, take screenshot of everything. Trust me, you need this. While all the games on this list are really great, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is by far the best. And it's not even close. And I would even go as far as to say that this is a 10 out of 10 for me, and for so many reasons. The story about this journey full of despair and hope at the same time is told beautifully, with memorable and epic moments that almost make this feel like a movie. The twist the story had to offer absolutely caught me off guard and left me staring at the screen mouth wide open while being fully invested in the narrative and the characters. This cast of characters has quickly become one of my favorites in recent memories, as everyone has a complex and authentic personality, while the group dynamic feels believable, especially in the context of the story and gritty world. And then there's this turn-based combat system which is just unbelievably well crafted and fun. The interactive elements like time attacks, dodges, parries and free aim, combined with the simple yet deep and motivating Lumina system, create the most engaging turn-based combat I've ever had the pleasure of playing. It just never got boring, and just like with Metaphor ReFantasio, I simply couldn't stop grinding because I just had a blast. Then there's the amazing soundtrack, the insane performance of the voice actors and emotional performances of the motion capture actors that create a game that oftentimes feels more like a film than a game. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a miracle, especially considering the small team and budget, and I still can't believe that this exists. This, my friend, this is art, and everyone who played and loved it knows that. If you haven't, just play it, I'm serious. You don't need to be an RPG fan or whatever, you just need to be a human with emotions. If that's the case, I'm sure you enjoy this masterpiece. It's one of the best games ever made. Alright, these are my picks for the best indie games of 2025 so far. What are your favorite indie games? Let us all know in the comments. Hey, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button to never miss any of my future videos about indie games, JRPGs and more. Thanks so much for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.